Welcome to Altai! And today, spawning in the southeast corner of the map in blue, we've got Aussie Drongo playing as the Ottomans. And his opponent today in the northwest, well, we've got someone playing in pink as the English. I can't obviously pronounce this name, I'm not entirely sure, but I did do a bit of a Google Translate and it said, your heart is clear. So I think we're going to call this chap Heart. So it's going to be Heart versus Aussie Drongo on Altai. Welcome everyone to this Age of Empires forecasted game, and I'm super excited because it's not every day that we get to cast Aussie Drongo, the man himself, the man, the legend, the great Age of Empires forecaster is up and running, playing on the rank ladder. This is Conqueror 3 level, so of course very high level Age of Empires 4 gameplay coming your way. Two civilizations that we love to watch, the English versus the Ottomans. And the thing is, Altai is coming back into the ranked pool, and we haven't seen it all that often, like recently anyway. I'm excited for this matchup because we see English a lot. We kind of know that they've got lots of options for them. They can often go for a very fast feudal age to be aggressive with longbowmen. A little bit tricky on Altai sometimes, especially if there's a lot of choke points, which is kind of the case here on the east side. A little bit of palisade walling there, but Aussie Drongo will cut that off. But there is a bit of a wide entrance on the west side that longbows could get in. But that's not the only strategy that the English can go for. Recently, I've seen Divine do a lot of town centers. 3-4 town centers even. Getting to that fast Imperial Age with the Berkshire Palace and then spamming man-at-arms. Very difficult to stop. The Ottomans, I would say, is actually a bit of an unknown entity. Like, Altai as a map kind of fell out of fashion in Age of Empires 4 just around about the time the civilization came to the game. So like Malians and the Ottomans, we didn't see all that much of them on Altai. So this is why I like this game to be casted, because there's lots to talk about. Obviously, there's Aussie Drongo playing, I'm not going to lie, we love to see his games, but also in particular, like, we don't really know what Ottomans are going to be up to. It's going to be the Twin Minaret Madrasa going to the feudal age for the Ottomans, and I, kind of expect a council hall for the English. But we shall see what Hart decides to do. Now, the thing is that, well, just theory crafting and think about what the Ottomans can do. It does often seem like on other maps they have this timing push that they really need to do, like a fast feudal age into a couple of free units from the military schools into an aggressive push. Against the civilization, against the English in particular as well, if they decide to boom with multiple town centers. Of course, the eco, they don't have a huge amount of eco bonuses, the English, but they do have those farms, which, the eco bonus doesn't really count like nice and early. It's sort of like the mid game that kind of really kicks in with like crazy amounts of food coming in with that farming transition. But, so it does give the Ottomans a bit of a window of opportunity to be aggressive where the eco difference isn't all that much. But once the farms come into play, it can be dangerous for the Ottomans. He's got about 3 villages on stone at the moment here, Aussie Drongo, probably looking to get those military schools. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to send more for more town centres. I expect not, because of course the Ottomans tend not to boom that much. But on Altai, you never know, it's a very closed map. It could be an option. Now there's that council hall coming up for the English. Hart might be looking to maybe even drop a barracks, because the timing is, actually he's got 4 villages on the council hall. Could potentially just go straight into longbows. We shall see. He's looking to push those deer closer a little bit to the mill. What's interesting, he opted for an early wheelbarrow. It's something we don't often see that much with the English. We often kind of expect an early survival techniques, getting villagers onto deer pack. It's something that I've seen quite often, and I've probably kind of preferred, to be honest, because the food coming in from the deer is very, very fast. So I think this kind of signals that maybe he doesn't want to be super aggressive in this early game. Rather, he wants to play sort of the later game where the food will be playing more of a difference. Because if you're going for sort of super early aggression, generally you want to kind of make the most of the deer, because obviously then you can have less villagers on food, transition more onto wood, and get those longbows and spearmen out a little bit faster. So this kind of tells us maybe he might be going for a sort of a castle age later game approach, which is obviously not bad with the English. Incredibly strong civilization in the late game. Alright, well, Aussie Drongo getting that blacksmith up. Going to be able to boost up the production speed on the military schools and whatever else he decides to drop. He's got a couple more villagers still on gold. And there's that second military school. So he's going to opt for free units. And this is kind of interesting because, of course, it really helps getting those free units. It means that he can pump more into eco. Maybe get some upgrades. Maybe we shall see what Aussie Drongo decides to do. There is an early farming transition from the English, so it does appear, it's kind of interesting how he's opting for the farms rather than the deer. And I guess that signals that he's actually really opting for the kind of mid to late game where he wants his eco to really kick into to play. Because, you know, he's spending valuable wood here that could have been spent on longbows, right? He's not queued up a single longbow. He's going to get a barracks right now, which is kind of an interesting one. It's kind of go for a mixed approach. Maybe, I don't know how I feel about this, honestly, because I feel like you kind of really want to leverage, if you're going to do this, like maybe go a bit more aggressive and put a bit of pressure and then get that farming transition for the eco. But he kind of wants that stable, steady income of food, which is actually not that bad. It's really nice to have in your economy, so you don't have sort of a really hard farming transition later on in the game. And it appears that that's what Hart wants to do. Got a scout on the front lines just to see what is happening, and just checking out on the stone. He'll notice that there's not enough stone there for a town centre, and that he'll spot the 2 military schools in any case. Both toggled. Oh, well, one toggled onto Spearman. Or comes out at the perfect time to get that little poke and prod on that scout. And he does have the other military school on Sipahi. Alrighty, plenty of villagers on berries. Of course, making the most of the twin minaret madrasa. Oh, gets the scout in the end. That's actually really painful for Hart. He's not going to have that vision now, and that actually really hurts him in terms of the longbow's vision and the spearman vision. That's not really what you want. These things can happen. Now, speaking of things are happening for Age of Empires 4 very soon. We're getting a new DLC with new civilizations. I'm super, super excited for it. I'll just mention as well that, you know, if you enjoy the casted games on the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because, of course, I'll be casting a lot more Age of Empires 4, especially with the new civilizations come out, the Byzantines, the Japanese, the 4 variant civilizations. I'm super looking forward to those, especially the Chinese civilization, the variant civilization for that, the Abbasid dynasty getting one, Joan of Arc for the French, and well, I mean, I think this is gonna be great, really, with these 4 new civilizations coming out, revolving around the Chinese, the Abbasid dynasty, the French, and the HRE, the Order of the Dragon. We mustn't forget about them. The spy riding in a little bit, getting a couple of pokes and prods from the spearman. Nice defense. A little bit. I mean, he's going to focus on, obviously, the archers there with the spy. Does take out one of the spearmen there for Aussie Drongo. But the trouble is, he's kind of getting outmassed in terms of numbers. Aussie Drongo loses his scout and is going to lose the spy as well. And just by sheer number of units, looks like Hart's going to get some value here. Having said that, you know, the good thing for Aussie Drongo, he hasn't actually spent a single resource on units. And he's going for the fast castle with the Mehmed Imperial Armory. We kind of saw that coming when you looked at the resources at the top right. But it's an interesting strategy, certainly. He's going to pull those villagers a little bit closer to the town centre, a bit more protected. 15 villagers on that. And he will be able to get a mangonel pretty fast after that. But he needs to bide some time. Like, he needs to survive. And the good thing for Drongo is that, well, his opponent hasn't gone full aggro, right? He's actually gone for a farming transition. Didn't go on deer early. And it meant that really can't really afford too much in the way of aggression. Like, for example, rams. Because that could be a really strong push coming in from the English. Tend to get like a really strong feudal age push around about the 11-12 minute mark, with rams in total as well, like with the English. But it doesn't have, I don't think it has that technology. It doesn't have it researched. It does have a blacksmith, and I think just generally timing wise that won't happen for the English. You won't have that 12-13 minute death ball push. So Drongo should be okay to survive for now, especially if that mangonel comes out soon. How long will it take? Well, it's going to take a good 2 minutes. And he has got a palisade wall here on the east side, which certainly helps. Going to try and get some of those relics in now that he's in the castle age. And he does have the imams popping out with the vizier point being spent. So on the back of this, just take a look what Hart is up to. Still got those 4 farms, and now he's going onto the deer pack transition quite hard. Does he have survival techniques? He doesn't. He's going very much on goals. He's going to go for a castle age himself. He doesn't want to be out-teched out. Oh, he's going to get a couple of picks off with the Sipahi. Needs to be careful though, taking bad trade with the spearman. Does back off now. Ooh, a couple of longbows just diving in a little bit too close for comfort. Possibly could have sniped a villager, but didn't. And thing is, Aussie Drongo hasn't lost a single villager. That's really quite key. A lot of villagers on stone. I don't think it's for a keep. It will take too long, but maybe for the more military schools to get free units. Do you know what I've noticed? Drongo hasn't spent a single resource on units. The man is crazy. He's going to be just defending with free units. And it's okay, well, Drongo is unfortunately not going to be able to take his own deer pack. It's a bit of a shame, but perhaps he won't need to. I mean, he does need gold, though, if he's going to progress and get some heavy armoured units in the castle age. He's going to get a couple of houses here on the east side, just playing a very compact economy and base. Alright, well, it's looking good for Hart to get to that next stage. I mean, I wouldn't mind a white tower here. I really wouldn't. Like, dropping a white tower forward would be absolutely phenomenal. because he does have units, which Drongo just doesn't have himself. I think that's the play. I think that could be the play, but it might be... I'm just from the sounds of it, the way he's been playing, might be more of a defensive play, maybe a King's Palace, which, I mean, could work if he's going to play the super late game, but it does feel like he's got a window of opportunity here to place down a white tower forward. Does lose that Imam there with the relic. Aussie Drongo. It's going to be the King's Palace in the end. He's going to be placing that... Where has he placed it? Okay, further back on the stone and the wood. I mean, I don't hate it, but I would have loved to have seen a white tower just to punish this kind of greed, which, you know, he's aware of. He can see that there's a lot of shenanigans going on, not spending a single resource on units. Did lose his mining camp at the end. He's going to go for a third military school, and he has a mangonel now. So Drongo should be happy and safe. Happy as Larry. Apparently his boulders just don't affect his own villagers, just his enemies. And it is what it is. No friendly fire with the mangonel. Alright, well, he survives for now, and Drongo will be happy with this because he's gotten away with the greed. Like, he's got one relic, one sacred site rather, on the east side, which is now being decapped. Probably looking to get this relic pretty soon, but he will need to build a mosque to do that, I think. Alright, yeah, there's that mosque. He's going for that third military school. And he could afford a fourth, actually. Just depends where he wants to put it. There we are. Just going to place it down there, plonk it down. Alright, well, Hart is going to go for stables. He's going to go for the knights and try and get it onto the field. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like Man at Arms is a little bit stronger. It obviously is a lot less mobile and getting on the map, but it's not as if his guy is on a rush to do damage. It's not been on a hurry at all this game. Now, the back of this, what is Drongo doing? Still not spending any resources on units. It's going... Wait a minute, what is this? He's going for villagers on gold. I mean... He's got a lot of food in the bank. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about fast Imperial Age with a lot of civilizations, the English in particular, but could the Ottomans do it today? I think Drongo is putting on a bit of a spectacle for us. No units coming out, or at least being spent with resources. I think this is a fast Imperial. It looks like he's on his way there because he's got a lot of villagers on gold and he's not spending anything, right? He's not got any production buildings to spend anything. He's literally got one villager on wood, probably just for houses at this point. This is a crazy... Let's take a look at the resources per minute. It's going to be walling up as well, protect... I think this is a fast Imperial, which is kind of bonkers. Now, I think one thing that could work quite nicely is the Great Bombard, right? Because it's such a strong unit with splash damage when it comes out into the field in good numbers. Trouble is, will he get there? There is an Imam trying to bring that relic back home. Has one deposited already, Aussie Drongo, but I don't think Hart sees that. He doesn't see it. The vision on Knights is really poor. That's often why you often see like a lot of pro players get scouts, just at least one or two, to stay with the knight, and he obviously lost his early scout, which really hurt. Might try and dive on that villager, does, and will get the kill, of course, with the charge attack coming in. Eco upgrades coming in, wheelbarrow already in nice and early back in the Dark Age. Double broadaxe has come in, and horticulture in the meantime. Going to dive on the mangonel, but Aussie Drongo should be able to keep that alive and repair. The Sabai poking product. No, I think he loses that mangonel in the end. Even the number of villagers repairing won't save it. Does lose a mangonel. There's another one still alive. I'm not sure if it's worth it though. He lost two knights for that, and it was a free unit anyway. And it doesn't really have much infantry anyway, so it's a tricky one. But the Imam surviving now with that relic, and all of a sudden Drongo actually has relatively equal numbers of units. But I would say obviously the knight's a bit more tanky, and it does manage to get away with that. But holy moly, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the Istanbul Observatory going to the Imperial Age here. Aussie Drongo going to be going up with the... it's not even the keep landmark. Holy moly. It's going to act as a university. It's going to get those upgrades really nice and quickly because of that. And obviously it's going to be providing more influence. Going to be increasing the production speed. Oh, these guys are already influenced anyway, to be fair. But the fact that he's getting like a blacksmith is kind of crazy. Really, really nice. And the trouble is, he's not going to unit upgrade, so that's kind of a concern. I wonder if he's going to start putting some production buildings. There it is, finally. Because the thing is, he actually needs to upgrade his units, right? So he's got man at arms, but he'll need a barracks to actually at least upgrade it to the elite status. I've got the military schools all toggled on to spearmen, and he spots... has he spotted this out? I'm not sure if he even sees this. Let's take a look at his point of view. I mean, no, I don't think he knows that's there. Well, he knows there's knights on the field, right? So he spotted the knights because that's what took his mangonel out. And there they are. There they are. 4 of them there running in. Mangonels get a good shot off, but obviously these guys don't take too much damage from mangonels. Might try and dive on that mangonel. A couple of spearmen popping out at the right sort of time. Man-at-arms as well. And, well, this is a problem situation for Hart, because he can't really get that much value and damage, right? He's getting caught in the choke points. And at the back of this, what do the English do? Does he go to the Imperial Age himself? It feels like he needs to wall up. He's got a lot of villagers, 63 versus 42. I think the play here for the English is to wall up. Stone wall up. Well, he doesn't have any stones, so he's going to have to rely on palisades for now, but because he needs to buy time, right? He needs to get to the Imperial Age himself. He's out-teched at this point, and these guys are going to get upgraded. You can see the veterans are coming in for the spearmen. But again, he's not actually produced... I don't think he's made any units. He's just getting upgrades so far. Keeps 2 mangonels alive for now. And the crazy thing is that all the units that the English have made, they've had to pay for, right? Aussie Drongo has not spent a dime. He's not spent a single Aussie dollar do. Alright, well. Village came out to maybe wall up... Oh no, it's an imam rather. To get the sacred site, but didn't quite work out for him. Here comes a bit of an onslaught coming on. Maybe, potentially, who knows. There's a lot of knights coming in for the English and supported by the crossbowmen. A couple of veteran spearmen. I think Hart wants to do some damage. He kind of needs to. Because the thing is that whilst he has good numbers of units, if these guys get upgraded to elite status, that's going to be a problematic situation for sure. Another military score. He can afford a man-at-arms upgrade here if he wants to. That's actually quite crucial. Getting elite man-at-arms, like it's a problem for Hart for sure. He's going to go for a forward siege workshop, but he's just floating a lot of wood. I mean, he probably will spend that on siege, but he needs a way to kind of punish this greed that Aussie Drongo has. Now, the one thing, I don't know, I feel like at this point, being aggressive is not the play. It felt like he's missed his window. Oh, no! Yeah, okay. Try and get those. Oh, Aussie Drongo might lose a lot here. He's not spotted it. Now it does back off. Does he lose all of them? I think he loses all of them. That was a huge pick off there. 13 villagers he's killed so far. Hart, and Drongo is about halfway in terms of villager count. It's kind of rough. I think this is a mistake. I don't think this is the play for Hart, because he's going to get pushed back by a better army, right? Like, Aussie Drongo has no signs of scaling his economy. He's getting sort of all pedal to the metal. He's got five military schools, all going to be producing units. And I think the English, the only way to win this game is to turtle up here. Get enclosures, well, eventually get to the Imperial Age with the Berkshire Palace. But he needs to turtle up. I think being aggressive here is not the play. He's missed his window of opportunities. Almost 18 minutes on the clock. Now's not the time to be aggressive. You missed your window. But Drongo going to push out now with Imperial Age units. Does he have the elites? He's got elite spearmen. Just regular Sipahi. Castle Age man-at-arms. But the issue is the 3 mangonels, right? The infantry from the English is going to absolutely wreck. The villagers need to back off. He might as well cancel this siege workshop. He does. He backs off for now. He needs to cancel all these buildings. He does. He saves the wood at least. But that forward siege workshop going to be absolutely useless. Oh no, he spawned a springald. Absolute terrible. He loses it for free. Tried to defend it a little bit with the cavalry charging in, but it wasn't enough. Now he has to back away. But all of a sudden, Aussie Drongo, he weathered the storm, lost 14 villagers, but it doesn't seem to matter if he wins the, wins fights like that. And he's going to continue to push. But the crazy thing is that he's going to be getting a bombard very soon, right? Great bombard coming in for free. Now, this guy usually costs a lot. He's actually going to get a siege workshop as well. Is that a siege workshop? No, it's archery rangers. Okay, well, it's going to be crossbows, it seems. Or maybe janissaries. It's going to be janissaries. I like this play. The janissaries are pretty strong against what is on offer here. Mostly cavalry. A couple of archers, but a couple of longbows rather. But if you can mass them up, the trouble is, this is really smart because Hart can't really go for longbowmen because of the number of mangonels on the field. He knows there are 3 mangonels. And so that forces Hart into melee units, whether it be man-at-arms, whether it be... I mean, he won't want to go for knights because janissaries will wreck them. So man-at-arms is probably the play, but janissaries will do decent against them, especially if he's got his own man-at-arms as meat shield. I think this is a problem situation. I think the janissary for the Ottomans causes so many problems. It just dictates the terms of the fight, right? Especially with the mangonels. Like, I think generally mangonels and janissaries are an incredibly strong army composition because it forces your opponent to avoid infantry unless they go for mass springals themselves. But it's always a tight rope, right? You never want to be suffering against a mangonel shot. A couple of villagers coming out to the gold on the west side. Getting an outpost too, being careful about things. A couple of knights heading in the east side for Hart. But Aussie Drongo being very patient. Now, the kind of concern for Aussie Drongo is if he doesn't push relatively soon, a Berkshire Palace and strong defenses from the English could really hurt him. But he doesn't have any villages on stone here, so there's no keeps, no stone walls. It's just going pedal to the metal in units now, it feels like hard. But he can never really outmass the Ottomans with a free production coming in. And that's a kind of a huge concern that Hart will have very soon. Denying that sacred site on the west side, trying to wall up on the west side, but it's a little bit too late to... Yeah, I mean, the Sipahi already there. Gonna try and get some value on the east side, but it looks like Drongo is fully walled up. Might do well to bring some army back just in case once he spots this. The villagers should be able to wall this up, or at least repair it up for a couple of seconds at least. There it is. There's the Berkshire Palace. A bit further forward. And that'll offer some protection, but the trouble is the Great Bombards coming out and they're going to do some damage. Let's take a look at how much he's saving here with getting them for free. That's a crazy amount of resources. 1,250 resources. Obviously, it does take a while for these guys to come out, but still, it's free. Villagers coming out to repair. The knights might do well to target the villagers that are trying to repair. I don't think he breaks in, actually. Yeah, he keeps it alive for long enough to get the army back home. And villagers, where are you going? All right, well, a bit of a death wish, but anyway. Janissary is there with... I think he's got the meta buff. He does. Looks like it. It's got the golden hue around the units. Well, I don't see the... Yeah, there is the meta. Pushes that away quite convincingly. And I think now Aussie Drongo just pushes back. Maybe just wall off here to protect the sacred site, protect the gold and the stone. But there's the Imperial Age coming in for the English. That could be a way back into the game. And enclosures should be coming in soon for Hart. Alright, the spear will protect the... Okay, that's bad. Hart, what are you doing? He just lost all those knights for nothing. Let's back off for now. And I mean, Aussie Drongo's going to be safe. He's going to secure the gold and the deer pack. And the berries. And he might just want to rush that up in case more knights come in. But there aren't any knights, so he'll be fine for now. And the units are going to head right back into the middle of the base. And to the middle of the map maybe to pressurize that central sacred site pretty soon. But I think Drongo needs to push, right? There's a timing window here because... with now Hart in the Imperial Age, if he secures and manages to get to the super late game, that could hurt Aussie Drongo a bit. Having said that, the Ottomans aren't known for the super late game, but I do feel like the Bombard, the Great Bombard, offers them a lot. Especially when they can get Janissaries like garrisoned inside them to increase the attack speed and the unload speed, the unpack and the pack speed for these units. It can be incredibly strong, especially with the meta and getting involved. And I mean, it has to go to the super late game for the English to really come alive. He's got elite Janissaries, elite Spearmen. He's got elite army tactics, by the way, from the Observatory. He's got elite man-at-arms. No blacksmith upgrades, interestingly enough. He's getting eco upgrades just now, getting torsion engines and making those... Oh, sorry, siege works. Increasing the health of the siege engines. That's going to make them super tanky. Going to go westwards first, just to deny the gold. Well, that's pretty painful, actually. Quite a few villagers there. And Aussie Drongo just being a thorn in the backside of Hart here. 92 military versus 36, but, almost... Yeah, it is already half. He's actually got double the villagers here, Hart. He needs to survive this push, though. If he survives this push, he might have a way. He's getting elite army tactics himself, increasing the HP of all melee infantry and the damage by 20%, but he needs to survive. Trouble is, he doesn't have much in the way of static defenses. A couple of palisades, a couple of outposts. That's just not going to hold. Not against Great Bombards. Does he go on the west side or does he go straight through the middle? I feel like Drongo should just go through the middle. It's so difficult here to get through in the checkpoints. And he's going to head back now. I just wanted to deny the gold, it seems. Yeah, it's really starting to mass. I mean, does Drongo just aim for 200 population and then push? Quite possibly. Getting roller shutter triggers, getting chemistry. That's certainly going to help those Janissaries and getting ranged armor too. Seems like the villagers want to go for the deer pack. We'll see. In any case, enough of messing around because we've got action in the middle. Here comes a big push with the Janissaries on the back line. Man-at-arms pushing forward with Man-at-arms coming in for the English as well. This is actually a good fight here for Hart. Aussie Drongo doesn't have his whole army, but they are coming. They're coming. Just hold the lines. Janissaries pushing that away for now. There's a couple of Springles there for Hart. I like what I see. 4 Springles. Not sure it's going to be enough against the Bombards. But it's a decent number. There's no sprinkles. There's only one. Yeah, 2 sprinkles. I like what Drongo's doing. Getting sprinkles as well. He's got roller shutter triggers already. And he's got the metas in good numbers. 3 of them just to buff up these units. Took a bad fight, but he held. And he kept it. He kept it at bay for now. Bought himself some time. Regrouped the army. And if he takes a fight now, he'll surely win it. Whilst he doesn't have the blacksmith upgrades, he does have elite upgrades. These guys are still veteran spearmen, veteran horsemen. That's not what you want. It's got elite man at arms, probably with the armored clad, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Not with this number of units. Bombard's getting huge hits. This is a huge fight for Drongo. He should win it. And underneath the outpost, the Ottomans outpost witnessing everything. The mangonels do unload, and those rocks decimate the English army. Bombard's catching up from behind, and I think Drongo just A-clicks and moves. He just needs to push. The Springles, if those go down, the Bombards will be having a free reign. He loses a Springled already. 3 more remain, but there's just not enough military here. Janissaries going to be focusing on a lot of those units. Now the Berkshire Palace are getting involved, and that will give the attack speed bonus for the English. Trouble is just so many numbers here. Drongo pushing forward hard with the Bombard. He is winning that fight for sure. 88 military versus 26 now. The trouble is for the English, he needs production buildings. He needs to replace, but doesn't have the food income to do that. And he is struggling here. Hart is getting pushed by a massive timing attack. A massive timing push by the Ottomans. There's that 3rd Bombard. You can see garrisoned in with units as well. 1 out of 1. That one got left out, but it doesn't matter. With this number of siege, he's going to push forward heavily. The trouble is for the Berkshire Palace. It's not going to withstand all of this. He can just tank all the fires. Focusing on the meta, though. That's a nice play by the Berkshire and Hart. He knows what he's doing. He needs to focus on the meta to get rid of that buff. But the Bombard's going to unpack on that Berkshire Palace. The Berkshire Palace goes down. That's the main defense will be gone. That's those man-at-arms getting absolutely chewed through by the Janissaries. An absolute crazy unit for the Ottomans. And Drongo pushing hard with the siege. This is a problem situation here for Hart. I'm not sure how he defends this. I don't think he does. I think he's going to lose the Springles. The mangonels unpacking as well. Siege doing so much work for the Ottomans. Protected by the Janissaries. And now the Berkshire Palace is going to be taken down, you suspect. Villagers coming out to repair, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Does have 1 Bombard still remaining. Lost a couple, but he's repairing. He's repairing. And that's a huge problem. The Berkshire Palace goes down. Could be curtains. Got a couple of Janissaries, though, fighting underneath the Berkshire Palace. Not optimum for Drongo, but it's killing a lot of the villagers. And now the villagers down to 108. Still more than double than Drongo has, but here come another 2nd wave of Janissaries. Bombard still unpacking on the Berkshire Palace. Janissaries going to run into the eco, I think. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Drongo takes it with a crazy fast Imperial strategy for the Ottomans. And while Hart just had no answers, Drongo comes in with the crazy strategy. Hope you guys enjoyed the casted game. Take care, and see you next time.